We have a lot of congressmen and some senators down today, and they're all up in arms over this. They can't even believe it. We have quite a few congressmen. I guess you'll be talking to them in a little while.
Day after day now, Trump surrogates have been setting up shop outside the court and talking to the press. Trump himself is barred by his gag order from talking about all sorts of people connected to this trial. He is also barred from directing others to talk about those people, which is what makes all of this so concerning. When Trump's latest batch of surrogates spoke today, they again attacked two individuals the judge has specifically identified as off limits, Michael Cohen and the judge's own daughter.
Well, I'm honored to be here with my colleagues from the House Freedom Caucus, where we watched Michael Cohen get dog-walked through the series of lies he has told.
Perjurer in chief, Michael Cohen.
Mr. Cohen admitted repeatedly that he lied.
To Cohen, who admitted to lying to members of Congress.
Michael Cohen.
Seeing the lack of credibility from Michael Cohen.
We would be remiss if we did not mention this corrupt judge, this judge whose own family is making six figures off of Democrat politics.
We have a judge whose daughter.
A corrupt judge whose daughter.
A judge is his own daughter.
The judge's daughter.
That's the judge's daughter.
All of that clearly breaks the judge's gag order if Trump indeed directed it. So the question now is, did he?
This gag order is to ensure that he cannot defend himself fairly. So we're here to have his back. We're here to defend him. We are President Trump's voice. We have his back. He will ultimately be proven innocent. Thank you.
Joining me once again are my colleagues Rachel Maddow and Lawrence O'Donnell. Rachel, the contention here is these people here are here as members of the public. I know you have been to the courtroom, and I hear it's a difficult thing. Can you talk a little bit about what that process was like for you getting seats and how coveted those seats were?
It's a big, long line, and you have to wait forever, and there's tons of security, and it blows out your whole day. And I mean, Lawrence has been doing it every day. It's no easy thing. It did, I think, cost some of those members of Congress votes today in D.C. I mean, I have to say, I'm a big believer in people showing up to court. And if you know somebody who's on trial and you believe in their innocence, or whether or not you believe in your innocence, you just want to support them, being there for them, I think that's a good thing. There's a reason that our courtrooms are open to the public. There's a reason that our judicial system is a transparent one, so everybody can see the proceedings and everybody can show up to support somebody if they know is involved in the system. But if you are a, public official, a prominent person, the kind of person who's going to speak to the cameras when you walk out during the morning break, the sort of normal course of events is to say, I'm here to support my friend or my colleague or my boss or the guy who I want to hire me to be vice president, whatever it is. I'm here to support X person. I believe in X person's innocence, and I believe the jury is going to see that truth too. And I wish these charges had never been brought, but I believe that this is going to be borne out in the end, and everybody will see that my friend, my colleague, my boss is innocent. Like, that's all good. That's all normal. Instead, what you're getting is these members of Congress saying, we're here to support him, and the American legal system is illegitimate and corrupt. And the judge is corrupt, and let me tell you about the judge's family. And that is just a wholly different thing. It is a hard thing to have people in very high office committing crimes in this country. It was hard with Nixon. It was hard with Agnew. It's hard with Trump. There's a reason that sitting presidents can't get prosecuted. Like, it's all very difficult. But when instead you've got a political party saying the American legal system should be gotten rid of because it's corrupt and the people involved in it are corrupt and bad and evil and persecuting you and me, that is something totally different. That is corrosive to the legal system at a minimum, and potentially fundamentally destructive to it if that's going to become the new platform on which the Republican Party makes the case to the American people that they should be put back in full power.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many levels at which this is appalling, Lawrence. There's the big picture that Rachel's just outlining. There's the smaller picture of what it's doing to potential witnesses in this trial. I mean, there was a whole back and forth about these surrogates being in the trial during cross-examination, walking by. Michael Cohen has to walk by them. I mean, going out there and impugning Michael Cohen and then sitting in the courtroom as he's testifying. Can you talk a little bit about sort of net effect that this is having as you go to this trial every day?
In the courtroom, no effect at all. You know the old parliamentary phrase, backbenchers. That's what they became because there were too many of them today. There's a row in the front behind Donald Trump for supporters like this, and there's usually not more than 2 or 3 of them who ever show up. But there were so many of them that they were literally sent to the back bench of the courtroom that's against the wall, farthest away from the hero. And, you know, most of them were people who I didn't know who they were. I mean, I knew they were members of Congress because there's a button there, but it's not like they're the most prominent members of Congress. Some of them I knew who they were. But they have absolutely no effect on the proceedings. I will say, what that shot of them outdoors, that's the largest collection of Trump supporters who have ever gathered at the publicly available gathering place for all Trump supporters to come. You'll notice there's no one behind them. NYPD has reserved a spot there for citizens from all over America or New York City or even Lower Manhattan, voters, Trump supporters, Biden voters. Anyone can gather there. No one comes. Donald Trump wanted them to come. They refused to come. Those people came.
That's who showed up.
And that's his biggest crowd ever. Here's an opportunity they had because, you know, what they do is they come in for the morning session. They leave at the first recess, which is, you know, like 11 a.m., and they never come back. Matt Gaetz is the only one who came back. But now they've been in the courtroom. They've been there for 2 hours. You watched Judge Merchan. Instead of coming out and talking about his daughter, why don't you come out and talk about his rulings? Because you just watched him make some rulings. Yeah. You watched him rule on several objections. And you watched him overrule the prosecutor's objections a number of times. Did you agree with that? You watched him sustain some objections. Do you understand why he sustained those objections? Because what Todd Blanche just said was argumentative and not a question. Do you understand what that objection was about? So one of the great tragedies of this trial not being televised is that they get to go out there and lie about how this trial is going, because none of them have ever in their lives seen, and they never will see, a more fair judge than Judge Merchan. And any televised version of this trial would prove that every minute of the trial.
Yeah, Chris Hayes referred to him as a picture of equanimity. Yes.